I woke up this morning 5:30 a.m. to a tremendous crash and ran down to find what could possibly be a smart owner's worst nightmare. My back windscreen had been shattered. I immediately started cleaning up and did not think to video the damage. However, I did take a picture which I'm showing above. Once everything was sorted with regards to the police coming through and investigations, I went ahead to try find a replacement for my back windscreen. Unfortunately, calling some autoglass places, also put in an online quote, I was quoted well over £1,000 online, and furthermore was told that they would have to access the part. Now, despite me loving my Smart, as well as to the fact that I look after it, it's a Smart 450 first generation, and spending over £1,000 for a back windscreen is not simply worth it. The issue lies in that the whole back windscreen is glass and there's no plastic or metal sides, and thus autoglass makers find it difficult to replace the whole system. I therefore looked around at various websites and breakers and finally found a part that I could ship to myself in order to try do this on my own. The purpose of this video is to see how much it costs total, and furthermore how easy this is to do on your own rather than scrapping or paying an exorbitant fee in trying to fix your Smart 450. Well, here we are, cycle a few days forward. Despite finding the parts and calling an esteemed delivery company to overnight it, I've gotten every excuse in the book. So eventually, 5 days later, I'm hopefully getting the parts today. So I'm just going to get the car ready so when it comes, I can just pop it in. Again, I'm by myself, so I might have to get the wife to help hold, but I'm going to get everything prepared for that eventuality. As you can see, here's the boot lid with the glass connected. That will just come off when I put the key in. You can see over here, this is the strut which is connected to the car. All it's going to require is removal of this lovely piece of metal with the pliers, and that should just pop off completely. Hopefully it pops back in quite easily. I've got one on the other side over here, as you can see, and then basically it's going to be 2 bolts just underneath there, if you can see, 1 and 2, and the wiring loom underneath, which has come with my new part. So I will quickly record myself taking this apart, discuss with you what the difficulties were, and then it's just waiting for the part to come. Also of note is the window companies that I've contacted. Despite me getting me quite expensive quotes, I also got phone calls telling me they cannot fulfill the order, and then asked me to rate them. So well done, window companies. You can see it's done now. It took me less than 10 minutes. I think this was the hardest part. I had to stick a screwdriver in and then pull with a pliers. These basically are 2 size 13 bolts that came off quite easily. And then finally the other side, same as previous. And then we have managed to take off the doorknob, which should be with, well, door lock, which should be with the part. I've kept the wiring loom in just to make sure which side they have cut the wires, so I can redo that. So I'm basically prepared for when my part comes, gets it done. Should take me less than 10 minutes. I may need my wife to come and hold for about 5 minutes to get these bolts in. Other than that, this is clearly a job that can be done by yourself for a lot cheaper than going to an autoglass place. So here's my part, obviously a bit grimy and got someone else's stickers and a few scratches, but I think I can work with it. So yeah, here's the wiring loom, which I'm happy it's there. Everything seems to be intact, so hopefully we can get cracking and finish. So my part has eventually come, and I've noticed the wiring loom is in the back of the car. So ultimately it's 2 screws, one on this side, one on that side to drop this off. And here's your wiring loom. Your connectors are basically in here, which you will unplug and put the new part in. Ultimately, again, you've got the connectors for your lights and then also for the wiper, the fluid. I did notice when I tried to put it up earlier that the part that I got from the breakers, unfortunately, this back piece has broken. Luckily with mine it was fine, so I just swapped it over, so it took me another 5-10 minutes. But again, 2 bolts, 1, 2, size 13, your 2 side connectors, and as I said, the bootlets over there. And as you can see, go in here, these are for the pipe for obviously the water to go to the back windscreen, and then your heating element and your back light. These are the 2 hinges, again 2 bolts through, and that should be the job. Again, we will push these wires back and then pop this back up, and hopefully job done. This looks quite dirty, probably hasn't been fixed before, so I'm going to give it a bit of a quick clean before I put it all together again. So sod's law, as soon as I started videoing, it started having a typical pour here in England, and unfortunately the camera stopped. However, this basically took me about 10 minutes, and on my own. I did not need any help. As you can see, I did spend a bit of time just making sure it's aligned and still within the 10 minutes, so everything looks good. With regards to the key, it opens up, it comes out nicely. I still have to put the wiring loom in, but as you can see, it closes nicely. And I use my key, and I can use the boot lid opens nicely, and it opens and closes nicely. So I'll show you that the back wiper, the windscreen wash, and the back brake light also works, which was just popping those connections as I had shown earlier. And once I put this back panel up, it should be done, and in less than, I think all in all, half an hour, I got this fixed. So all in all, my takeaway message is that although this seems like a big job, and the glass places tend to tell you it's quite expensive, and some may not even say that they can do it, if you can find a decent breaker for £50 part, or less or more depending on your area, you can get this done in less than 10-15 minutes. Of note, the only thing I can say is the wiper blade over here is not as good quality as mine, as I had changed it recently, so I'll change that. That's a quick job. And I managed to salvage my top part of my smart area, so I removed it from the glass. That took me 5 minutes to pop the screws around, as it had less scratches than the part that I got from the breakers. All in all, this cost me round about £50. The part cost me £40. I needed the socket wrench set for my drill, which cost me around about £10, and it took me about half an hour to put everything together. So much better than the £1,000 plus quote I've had previously, and certainly much faster. Hopefully this helps you, and hopefully this gives you confidence that you can do this on your own and you do not need a professional to do this. Thanks for watching.